From South Carolina Public Radio, this is the South Carolina Lead. I'm your host, Gavin Jackson, and this episode was recorded on August 24th, 2026 from South Carolina Public Radio Studios here in Columbia. On this episode of The Lead, we take you to President Donald Trump's rally for Senator Darline Graham in Myrtle Beach last Friday. We also talk with the voters of Horry County about the election, who they're backing, and their top issues. Also, I talk with NBC News' chief data analyst, Steve Kornacki. AT's also in here.
The data god. The data god. Where's
Yes.
the screen?
Oh, we couldn't see it, but you can see it in your hearts. We talk about pathways to victory in Tuesday's runoff between Graham and Congressman Ralph Norman. This is a packed pod, y'all. We've reached the runoff, dear leaders, and we also have a wind down section. You can... We really have to get into our old studio.
Yeah, I gotta not be in the same room with this guy.
But we want you to be on our wind down as well, and you can do that by calling 803-563-7169. We love hearing from you guys. I'm told that we have some text messages that AT will be reading in your voice. So give us a shout, give us a text, 803-563-7169. You give us life. It's just like in Peter Pan when we hit the clap for Tinkerbell. Clap, call 803-563-7169. Briefly, what's on tap this week in the State House? Yes, the House and Senate are back on Tuesday.
Again.
The same day as an election.
Again.
To deal with earmarks. Pork. Also known as community investment projects. Mayan will be there for us, so maybe we'll talk to her on Saturday. I'm a little busy with a little thing called the election up in Congress. Congress is on August recess, which we should also be on, but, never mind. We got this instead. But I also want to give you a little quick aside, little heads up for our left-leaning lead listeners, our 4Ls. It's going to be a cooler name for that, but I just thought 4Ls. I was at the Spratt. I knew you would like the alliteration, A too. I was at the Spratt Issues Conference on Saturday in Florence with former U.S. DOT Secretary Pete Buttigieg and Democratic U.S. Senate nominee Dr. Annie Andrews and others, and they will bring you their comments as well as that from SCDP leadership on the Democratic National Committee, affirming South Carolina as the first in the nation for the 2028 presidential primary. But that will be a pod for next week, my 4Ls and other listeners. This week is
2026 Runoff Week Part 2.
Yeah. And with that, we start in Myrtle Beach in the independent Republic of Horry County. That is where thousands gathered to hear from President Donald Trump on Friday as he rallied for his hand-picked successor for the late Senator Lindsey Graham, his sister, Darline. She was appointed by the governor shortly after Lindsey's July 11th death, and then, reportedly at Trump's urging, she decided to run for the full term. It's been an intense 45 days, and Darline is campaigning as an outsider in this race compared to Congressman Ralph Norman, who has been in and out of politics for more than 2 decades. That also comes with a cost for her, including during her debate performance last week, and what was widely panned as a flub when asked this question by Greta Van Susteren.
Senator, are Taiwan and the South China Sea national security issues for the United States? If so, why?
I'm just going to be honest here. I'm not on national security. I'm not that informed on national security, but I do support the military.
Since then, Graham has been downplaying that response, but has also been essentially in damage control mode during the final days of this pressure cooker of a campaign, which is not exactly what you want to be doing in the final days. Here is how she spun it in Myrtle Beach.
The critics say I shouldn't run for the Senate. They say I'm not a politician. You know what I say? Guilty as charged. And by the way, President Trump had never served in an elected office before, and I think he's done a damn good job.
Now, before Trump headed south, he was asked about her response on the tarmac at Joint Base Andrews.
She's into the price of groceries, the price of food, the price of beef, and it hasn't been her thing, but she's surrounded by very good people. She is a terrific woman who answered. I watched that. I thought it was a very honest answer, actually.
And then when he got to town, well, it was a bit of a party for Republicans in the Ruby Red Must-Win District. The program featured elected officials, including Senator Tim Scott, who we haven't seen much of outside of his recent services for the late senator. Nevertheless, he was hyped as usual.
I'm here to tell you, we as Republicans need to unite behind President Donald J. Trump every day and twice on Sundays. I'll tell you the truth. The first question and the last question I asked Senator Darline Graham was a simple question. I didn't endorse her during the first period of time. I wanted to wait and see how she operated as a senator. I wanted to see with my own eyes that she was the real deal. I'm here to tell you, Darline Graham supports President Donald J. Trump every day on every major issue, and that's why I endorse Darline Graham.
Congressman Russell Fry, whose 7th congressional district the rally was held in, that is pivotal to winning this race, also kept the energy going despite having missed the runoff election by 5 points to Norman.
President Trump needs people in the arena with him who want to turn an agenda into results, not just talk about it. That's why I've endorsed, and I'm proud to endorse, Darline Graham for the United States Senate. You know, Darline and I were competitors. I wanted to win. We fought hard. We fell a little bit short. But campaigns are temporary, and the cause is much bigger than a campaign. Darline understands the struggle and perseverance of working families because she's lived it. A focus on you, the hardworking families of America, is actually quite refreshing. And sadly, Washington has enough people that are trying to stand in President Trump's way. Everything's a problem. Well, sir, we can't do that, sir. If you look at paragraph 32B, sir, it's not perfect. Darline is not doing that. She's asking, how do we get this done? Are y'all ready to get this done?
Now, if you're reading between the lines there, Fry is talking about Norman without directly talking about Norman. And also a little aside, this would have been a much different runoff if Fry was in it compared to Norman, who was able to heavily lean into his name recognition, support, and campaign operation that he just ran statewide for the June gubernatorial primary that he came in third in. So he knows what it's like to come in third, Russell. Now, Fry's support of Graham again has been critical here as she needs to win big in Horry County, which is where she came in second place to Fry on August 11th. That's also because Norman has a strong grip on the upstate and his 5th congressional district that runs through part of the northwestern portion of the Midlands up to the North Carolina line and over to the border of the upstate. Back to the rally, Darline took the stage to the 2011 hit Give Me Everything, featuring recording artists Afrojack, Neo, and Pitbull.
Grab somebody sexy, tell them, hey, give me everything tonight.
Now, listening to that beat drop, I thought I was going to cut off right as she got to the podium, but that 62-year-old mother of 2 and grandmother of 1 went right ahead and let that beat drop. It was a bit of a personal moment, dare I say risky moment that played out. In that brief time that I've covered her, she did show some fun there. She was fist pumping along before getting to some of her familiar talking points.
Thank you. My opponent is now one of the 25 richest members of Congress. He got richer in office, $13 million richer. And during COVID, he took $600,000 in free government loans and never paid a dime back. Shame. I don't know about you, but I certainly don't think he's looking out for the people of South Carolina. Did you know that President Trump had to call my opponent down to the White House and convince him to vote for the One Big Beautiful Bill, or it would have never passed? We already have enough problem Democrats. We don't need a problem Republican.
Then Trump took the stage to Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA. This was a campaign event, so no hail to the chief. He opened by talking about what you would expect him to, the golf courses in Myrtle Beach.
I want to say a very special hello to Myrtle Beach, the home of 90 great golf courses. We're going to bring get everybody down to play golf. We're going to get them all. Everybody come on down and play golf here. Let them make a lot of money. Now you have great everything down here, but you're known for incredible golf courses, and so I want everyone to come down and use them, and I want you to make a lot of money when they do.
But also about Darline.
And I want to say hello to a very special person that's with us tonight, Darline. Because Darline is somebody I've known for a long time. I asked her to do this. I said, Darline, you got to do it. Because everyone loves her, everyone respects her. I've known her through Lindsay. I've known her for a long time. I think Lindsay respected Darline more than any other person he knows, including me. That does not make me happy. I'm not happy about that. I'm not happy about that, but one of those things. But with your help this November, we're going to stop the radical left Democrat communists here in South Carolina and all across the nation. And we're going to elect Senator Darline Graham to fight for South Carolina and to always put America first. She only knows how to put America first. She will be somebody you're going to be very proud. You vote for her, you're going to be very proud of that vote.
This visit again came at a critical time, not just in hopes of pushing her over the edge in this two-person race, but also as concerns were being raised over that debate performance, really one of the only big cracks that we've seen from Graham over the past few weeks. And again, something that she has always prefaced her campaign with. If you want an outsider, this is kind of what comes with the territory.
If you look at the Republican Party is MAGA. It's like, I watched another commentator say the Republican Party is only 70% MAGA. Let me tell you, the Republican Party, I think the real Republican Party is 100% Make America Great Again. But they're only fighting, Darline, because they want me to lose, which isn't fair. But I'm doing this to honor Lindsay. That's why I'm here. I don't have to be here on a Friday. I don't have to be here. Although I must say I love it. And now that I am here, we got plenty of time to talk, right? We got plenty of time. So, Darline, we got to win that race. And we appreciate that you're doing it. I asked her to do it. She didn't. She was very happy. Henry appointed her because she was a perfect appointment to serve out the term. And I said, Henry, she should really run. She's fantastic. We all know it. And I said, Darline, I called her. I said, Darline, I'd love to see you run beyond the 5 months that you're serving. And you've already made an impact in the Senate. You know that. Everybody respects you. Everybody listens to you.
Now, Trump also had a message to voters ahead of this November in what is expected to be a bruising midterm election.
They say, again, that Trump gets a lot of votes, but if he's not on the ballot, people don't vote so much. I am on the ballot. We're all on the ballot. Our country's on the ballot. You have to get out. You have to vote. I am on the ballot. We're all on the ballot.
At one point, there was a commotion as someone was wearing a T-shirt that said, "Kill your local pedophile." They started shouting at Trump before the person was being escorted out. It's a pretty interesting time. There's always someone shouting. And then Trump overall spoke for 90 minutes, relishing a fun Friday night in Myrtle Beach with about 4,000 supporters. But his final words were that of encouragement to Darline before being played out by the Village People, which he told the audience earlier was the gay national anthem.
Thank you, Myrtle Beach. I'll be back. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck, Darline. Good luck. Gonna have a big win. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. God bless you.
So you heard from Trump and Graham about the debate, but what about the voters? You and me. I was talking with Horry County voters in between that media preset time and the start of the event. That's when the Secret Service does its security sweeps. So naturally, I headed down to the Horry County South Strand Recreation Center to catch voters on the third and final day of early voting. Some 63,700 voters cast early in-person ballots, which was a 3% increase from the previous early voting period.
Wow.
Shocked, I know. August, look at you all. And in between older folks going to play pickleball, I caught some voters. Here's what Russell Lee told me about why he was voting for Graham and what he thought about her debate response.
I kind of don't like the whatchamacallit went against Trump a little bit, and I don't like that. And
Congressman Norman?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I like what she stands for, and I think she's down-to-earth person, and it's what we need. We need good people. I'm not crazy about it, but, I understand that she's not, it's not something she's been involved with her whole life as far as foreign policy and stuff. But, we got a lot of people in Congress and the Senate that's probably a little dumber on things than what she is. That's how I feel.
Pam Alford didn't watch the debate and, like Lee, voted for Fry in the August 11th primary and then switched to Graham because
I didn't like the other guy.
Why don't you like Congressman Norman?
I just don't care with him. I don't like him.
Yes, Miss Alford really just didn't like Norman and said she didn't watch the debate either or hear about it like we were talking about. But she told me this.
All I did was pray, and the Lord sent me where I was supposed to go.
Annie Kinn also previously backed Fry and was going for Graham this time along with her fiancé, Doug.
There were a lot of things that I took into consideration. One, I think there was some concern that she hadn't been in politics before, but then after thinking about it, pretty much everyone that goes into politics doesn't have experience, not that I know of. So I just figured, she was really supportive of the Trump agenda, definitely, is for getting rid of the filibuster and, wants the SAVE Act to go through. So I think, she'll be good for our state.
But what does Congressman Ralph Norman think about the debate response? I asked him about it Wednesday night following the South Carolina Manufacturers and Commerce event, the annual Washington Night here in Columbia.
Look, when you sign up for this job, you're signing up for 6 years. You're signing up to deal with any problem that comes. I wish we had more time, more debates. We had one set up today, and she didn't want to take the part. Had one set up Friday, did not want to take part. That's where you hammer out the ideas, the questions that y'all ask, Gavin, on everything. And you don't have to be an expert, but you have to explain your positions and your overall opinion. And she just didn't do that.
So now we wonder what to watch for on Tuesday. What do we make of the current state of play and more? Well, for that, we turn to NBC News' chief data analyst, Steve Kornacki, for his take, what he's watching for and pathways to victory for the candidates. I spoke with him on the phone Friday and asked him about the early voting numbers and what they meant.
It feels to me like it's a volatile race, and one that I'm now looking at Tuesday night as being potentially a suspenseful night. The early voting numbers have jumped out at me too. It can always be dangerous, reading too much into those, but it does have me wondering again if this campaign has kind of touched a nerve. Again, I think the Graham strategy in a lot of this was that this would sort of, they would never say it this way, but I think that this would sort of play out almost like a coronation. She gets the appointment, Trump's asking her to do it, Trump immediately endorses her for the full term, she goes for that. I think the sort of idea there was that the party would fall in line and this would be sort of a low wattage affair, this campaign. And I think when you're seeing the early voting numbers that we're seeing, it suggests this is more of like a high wattage campaign. And I'm not sure that works to her benefit. So it's one of those reasons why I'm thinking of this as potentially close on Tuesday night. I think the big question to me is, looking back at the primary results, the big question to me is actually where you are today. Myrtle Beach, 7th congressional district, Russell Fry's district, because when you look at that map in the preliminary, he swept, Fry did, his district. And he made no incursions anywhere outside of his district, but he swept his district. And obviously a ton of votes really in Horry County, in the area you are, and he's gotten behind Graham. Have his voters moved with him? If his voters have moved with him, I think she's in great shape. But I think that's a very open question.
You probably see Kornacki on election nights via the Kornacki cam on TV or NBC News' platforms. It's like we're all in a zoo watching this animal, but he's crunching electoral data in real time down to key counties. And like he was talking about, Horry County being the big one here in South Carolina. But here's what Kornacki said about Norman's advantages and what counties he sees as a toss-up for either of them.
Yeah, look, I think his advantage is he did really well in the place you want to do really well in a Republican primary in South Carolina back in the preliminary, and that is, the upstate. You just look at Greenville, Spartanburg together, they're probably about 20% of the vote in a Republican primary, and he put up huge numbers there. Add in, his own base in his congressional districts, York County, Rock Hill, that area. Just do York County, Greenville, Spartanburg. That's probably more than a quarter of all the votes that'll be cast in the primary, maybe even more depending on how the turnout patterns go. The fact that he's shown he can win there and potentially win big there, he can get a lot of mileage out of that. And I think you layer on top of that the fact that, again, when you're talking about the upstate, you're talking about a region where, the Graham name, I think the most sort of skepticism about the Graham name among Republicans is going to be found in the upstate. It's where Lindsey Graham typically did, the worst in his campaign, certainly in his final primary campaign. You got potentially, I think, weakness for the Graham name, and you have strength for Norman in this area that's just very, very vote rich in a Republican primary. So, for him, it's about winning there, and it's about running up the score there. I think, obviously for Darline Graham, I said she had kind of a breadth of support in the preliminary. It wasn't that she was putting up landslide numbers anywhere. She was just running basically first or second everywhere. That gets right to the question I have about Russell Fry's district, the 7th Congressional District, where she was second choice behind Fry. Right. Is she the first choice in the runoff? I think she needs that, because if Norman's coming in with the upstate, where's another, sort of vote-rich area where she could counter that? Myrtle Beach, Horry County, that area comes right to mind. So I think it's crucial for her. I expect her to do pretty well in, sort of the low country. But I think we saw in the preliminary, the turnout wasn't as great there compared to like Myrtle Beach, compared to, Greenville, Spartanburg, that area. And so then it sort of comes down to me to look at, all right, how's Richland County, how are the Midlands going, right? How's Richland County looking? Is that sort of, Lexington County? Is that's sort of to me, kind of the toss-up area almost, almost a potential bellwether area. How it's going there on Tuesday.
Great insight there from Stephen. Thanks again to NBC News for that connection. We will be live on SCETV, South Carolina Public Radio, and youtube.com/SCETV News on Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m. So tune in for that show with our reporters in the field, in-studio analysis, but sadly, no big board. Welcome to the wind down section, our little break from the news. We're glad you're here along with A.T. Shire, lead podcast producer, again in the same studio with me. Hello, A.T.
Different studio, though.
Different studio. We're turned around.
Mirror image.
Brighter in here.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Yeah. What? They were supposed to have our studio done by the time we got back from our vacation. So we're about a month over now. We'll see. We'll see, folks.
Yeah, and it's also where you do who, what, when in. So it's kind of messing you up a little bit, Chief.
Yeah, I know.
Thrown off the feng shui.
Thank you for mentioning who, what, when. People, please be contestants. I always need contestants.
Yeah.
Anyways.
What number do they call for that? Call number? How do
God,
they do it?
don't make me remember the number.
Don't make me. That's
I have
okay.
too many phone numbers
Listen,
rattling around in my
subscribe.
head. So, Gavin, instead of calls, we got some text dispatches,
Oh,
okay?
nice.
Mark, keeper of the scrolls, noted poll manager.
Yes.
When I had mentioned Harry's Hoagies in Greenville, he headed out there.
Wow.
Sent a picture in. He says, doing research at Harry's Hoagies. Thanks for the recommendation. It's amazing. I have so much more research to do. He went with a cheesesteak. He says, my. Yeah, wow. It's intense stuff. These are big hoagies, folks.
Okay, well, I need to make a list of. You'd think I'd have a list by now of things and places to go when I'm on the road.
A Rolodex.
Besides just gas stations.
No.
But no, I haven't. Yeah, I'll do that for the Greenville, for the upstate. Hashtag, that Greenville.
It's really great, and it's even worth it after they profile you as being from New Jersey, because they did nail it. They were right.
Thank God that I will never have to worry about.
No, you won't have to. Okay, the next one. This is from Butt Dial Bob, who we haven't heard from in
BDB.
a long time. Yeah, BDB. Okay. He says, hi, this is Bob's butt again. Just a butt text here. Love the show, by the way. Can we get Scott Huffman on the pod to talk about the latest Winthrop poll of the southern states? I'm sure, Bob, we're going to hear about it.
Yeah, we'll get him on when things cool down.
We love Scott, especially he's my Lord of the Rings brother in arms. Our fellowship will never break. He also says, light wash denim, 2 thumbs down emojis. Thanks. Rude. I take that personally, Bob.
Well,
and then he also says, also love the hunger strike tees. So he's not going hungry for any grunge references. You know, we're a little man in the box for you, Bob. All right.
With the light wash, I think that's your jacket. So that kind of makes sense because typical fashion rule of thumb is like you want to have like darker, the bottom portion of your body, you want to be a little bit darker. So like darker jeans, darker pants. So you want a lighter top. This is to make you look better.
This is absolute fashion theory from the fashion council here. Yeah, this is all in the scrolls if you read. It's all in the scrolls.
You're in the scrolls.
It's always there.
I mean, it's just the same with horizontal stripes. I mean, unless you're like some little skinny mini, like it really doesn't do you favors because it makes you look wider. That's an Oprah hot take. But I don't care. I like some horizontal stripes, some nautical stripes. You know, it's fine by me.
Oh, Caitlin loves the blue stripes. Yeah, exactly. She didn't know what to dress at a party, Halloween party, and she had this blue striped shirt. I said, buy a beret. You're French.
You painted on a little stash.
Yeah. But sticking with the light wash.
Yes.
My dad came to my house recently, and I know, Dad, you're listening to this right now. And he just walked in. I go, Dad, you want to see my new jacket? He goes, I know about your jacket. I listened to your show. I was like, okay, Dad, where's your jacket? So I showed it to him. He goes, you can't go this light.
Oh, then you got to bring it. I have to see this now.
Is it dark?
Is it white?
No, it's just a light.
Typical.
Jean.
Typical. Okay, I'm thinking
exactly what you think. He goes, you got to go dark, and you got to get a Lee denim jacket.
Yeah, Lee. I'm so anti-Lee. I was traumatized by Lee, the jeans brand as a child, because I just thought they were kind of like. That was like cheap, basic Sears, you know.
Yeah.
We were shopping at Sears, don't get me wrong, but I was like, we're better than this at that time. I even had a little.
I bought my Nintendo 64 at Sears.
Well, Sears was a great American company until it wasn't.
Got Turok Dinosaur Hunter with it.
But, you know, I'm envisioning it. I think it looks good. I just need to see you wear it, and I'm sure one of these fall days, these seasons, you'll be busting it out. But
I threw it on when he was when I was talking to him about it. It fits like a glove. Fits great, dude.
I don't know. I didn't ask you what your motivation was. Did it just speak to you, or what was?
I was just.
You said this is the time.
The fates steered me toward it. You know.
You're gonna wear jeans at some point, though, huh?
Yeah, sure. Who cares?
But like jeans on, down. But you wear.
I don't know.
You wear dark jeans.
I'll wear black jeans too. Yeah, but I don't know if I will go. Jeans on jeans, the full Canadian tux.
Well, you gotta have. That's when you have the denim shirt too. Did we had a wind down last episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about the debate. It's. I will say the fallout from that debate and that question that we played again in this podcast has been just kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't ask it, thank God, because that'd even be like weirder. I mean, I was just
Greta
on.
Yeah,
Greta. Yeah. And then Greta was doing like a lot of. She was doing a lot of damage control for Darlene on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, which I thought was kind of interesting to weigh in on. Like I would have just let it play. But I'm not on Twitter either, and I'm better off for it. But it has been weird. People being like, "Yeah, I saw you on that in that clip." You know, that viral. It's like, and it's breaking through to people that aren't even paying attention, and that's when you're like, "Woo!"
I mean, as soon as you heard that line from her, you're like, "Okay, well, I'm going to hear that a lot over the next few days."
And like I said, we didn't have a monitor on stage, so I didn't know what the shot was, but. You know, you're never making faces up there, too. But I was constantly scribbling because I was trying to keep up with where we were in this debate.
Well, you sketch everyone around you while these things are happening.
I'm always sketching, and it's good to laugh. It's been so long. Literally, I've just been focused on this stuff for so long, and I'm just going
He can't even do his art, folks. Anyway, Gavin, I mean, your truest art is reading the outro. So go ahead.
Thank you.
Hey, we're back, folks. Okay, another week. We'll have some answers by next episode.
Yeah,
okay?
we're gonna have a lot of answers. We're gonna be opening the Ark of the Covenant on Saturday's pod.
I heard a little tip, Gavin. Keep your eyes closed, okay? Just when it happens, keep your Miriam, keep your eyes closed, okay?
I would be so.
The other
I don't know if I could do it.
They can look, but you don't want to look, okay? But that's.
Would you be able to do it?
Oh, I think I'd be able to do it. Yeah, I keep my eyes open. I'll be okay. You know? Yeah, I'd be okay. Anyways,
I don't know. Everything popping off and like, okay. I mean, I'll probably be able to keep my eyes closed.
I heard 2 things. Okay, 1, keep your eyes closed. 2, I heard. The dates are bad. Okay, Gavin? Bad
dates.
Okay? Anyway, say bye-bye.
We love our Indiana Jones here. That a cross reference. Oh no, that's the same one. Yeah,
Same one. Sala, same one.
But there's always someone lurking in your room, so check your room, folks.
Evil
This is
monkeys.
Thanks for listening to the pod, y'all. You can always show us your appreciation by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or giving us a shout or text message like BDB or Mark, Keeper of the Scrolls, 803-563-7169. And Mark, please let us know what you ended up doing for your food for Tuesday. I've been thinking about you as I've been scarfing down food on the road. I want to know what you ended up doing. And you can stay up to date with the latest news on SCETV.org and SouthCarolinaPublicRadio.org. And don't forget to support your local newspapers. The South Carolina Lede is a production of South Carolina Public Radio. Our producer is A.T. Shire. Amy Crouch is our supervising producer. Sean Birch is our executive producer. This podcast is produced with support from PRX and is made possible in part by a grant from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, as well as listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina. For the South Carolina Lede, I'm Gavin Jackson. Be well, South Carolina. Oh, my dad.
Well, my dad says you can't do this anymore.
Pissed off.
My dad says you can't do that anymore, Gavin.
He doesn't. I can borrow a copy.